Hello everyone, my name is Gabby and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super review. This time we're reviewing episode 47. In the timeline of the Future Trunks we know in the Cell arc, the world is in peril yet again from a mysterious enemy named Black. Bulma manages to give Trunks enough fuel for a one-way trip to the past on their time machine, sacrificing her life so Trunks can leave with it safely. Him and their timeline's version of Mai head to Capsule Corp to use the machine, but Black finds out and tries to stop them. After injuring Mai, the smoke clears, and it turns out Black has a familiar face. He looks just like Goku. So, what did I like about this episode? Well, first of all, this episode was really freaking dark. I guess that's to be expected considering just the concept of this arc in general and the fact that it's like Future Trunks' timeline and everything's destroyed again, but I was not expecting them to play, the dark angle of this up so much. People died. At least one character seems to have died. I don't know if Mai's actually dead yet. She just seems kind of injured. She might not be dead. I don't think she's dead. But Bulma seems like a named character. Bulma seems to actually have died. Geez, that is some dark shit. Especially from Dragon Ball Super, which after 46 episodes has been relatively lighthearted. The darkest it got was some parts in Resurrection F, and even then it wasn't really as dark as it could have been, so this is definitely interesting. I mean, I know that just because something is dark doesn't necessarily mean it's better or it's even that good. I know there are shows where there can be absolutely terrible stories, but they're still really dark and gritty, but I just find this really interesting. It doesn't necessarily mean it's better because it's darker, but it feels like the fact that they put so much effort into trying to create this mood of kind of hopelessness and terror and also hope as well. They had new music, they had all these different characters and people dying, stuff that they didn't need to include. So it does make me feel like this arc might get a bit darker, make a bit more realistic or something. And what I like about this is it feels like the people making this they seem to really be putting a lot of effort into this. They feel like they put a lot of effort into this episode in particular. So, makes me feel like they want this arc to be a big deal. And I have got nothing against lighthearted stuff, but the problem with lighthearted stuff is sometimes it is hard to take it seriously. But this, they definitely want us to take it seriously, and I'm just finding that so interesting. And then there was also a little thing that they included in kind of the sort of present day little situations, and that was the revelation that Zeno, or the King of All, or the Omni-King, or whatever translation you want to use for him, the fact that he, everyone's scared of him, but he doesn't necessarily fight. It's just that he seems to have the ability to basically just instantly remove from existence something that he doesn't want. I thought that was really interesting, and I thought that was, I was hoping that was going to be the case, and this ends up being the case, and I really like this idea because it's it feels like it's a lot less likely that they're trying to just crank up the power scale. It's not are Goku and Vegeta gonna get to Omni-King levels? Because no, they're not, because Omni-King doesn't fight. He has no fighting ability, he can just destroy things. So I thought that was really interesting, and I think this is a really good idea because it means that they're not going to crank up the power scale as much. Because I feel like when the power scale goes up too high too quickly, that kind of just causes about 50% of the problems with Dragon Ball, and if they just try to stop everyone going up in power so much, then things would be more interesting, and hopefully this stuff means that that's what it's going to be the case for this arc. As for what I didn't like about this episode, well, I did really enjoy some of the dark tones and kind of this whole situation of Future Trunks' time in general. The cutaways to the present day were sometimes a bit jarring. You suddenly go, it's suddenly this really dark environment, and then suddenly we just transition to the present day where everything is fine and everyone's having fun and going and farming and training and there's no problems in their life at all. If it was supposed to be jarring, then maybe I would have gotten behind it, but I don't think this was supposed to be jarring. I actually don't know why they included some of those scenes in. The exposition about the Omni-King was important, that was interesting, but the stuff with Goku farming doesn't really add much to the story, I don't think. Also, it included that whole stuff about Chi-Chi trying to force Goten to study, which is something that's never happened in the series before, and I hope it does not happen in the series, because filler scenes with Chi-Chi trying to force Gohan to study were some of the worst parts of Dragon Ball Z, so I hope that is not a recurring joke. I really hope that does not show up again. And I haven't really said this yet, I guess, but the concepts of this arc, that is Future Trunks coming back and evil Goku. I'm not totally against the ideas, because I mean they're already happening anyway, but realized I never really said it, but I don't think these concepts are particularly interesting. The fact that they do kind of sound like everyone's like fan fiction they wrote when they were 12 does mean something. I'm just hoping that they're going to do something original with this. I mean, at the very least, they haven't made Future Trunks be like, I am the strongest character ever, hurrah, look how badass I am. So that's one thing, but yeah, I just need to get it out there. Yeah, evil Goku is not very creative. Future Trunks coming back isn't that creative either. So I just hope they do something interesting with this. And as for next episode, speaking of interesting things, we're going to get to the one thing I'm really looking forward to seeing Future Trunks in this arc for, and that is him meeting up with the rest of the cast members. There's all of the cast of Dragon Ball Super, and hopefully having exposition of him being just filled in on what's been going on ever since he left to go to his own time, because a lot has happened since the end of the Cell arc, and I wonder how he's going to react to it. And I wonder how the other characters are going to react to him. I mean, there's some stuff about Kid Trunks there, and yeah, I've got to say, you know, if you suddenly find like an older version of yourself from the future comes back with injuries and stuff, you know, that's just something I really want to see how they handle it, because like it could go in any direction. So that was Dragon Ball Super episode 47. I've got to say, it was definitely a very interesting episode. I mean, I'm not going to say it was perfect. Some of those cutaways and stuff didn't really need to be there. I wonder if we should have had a bit more time in Future Trunks' timeline, or thing is, you know, not only do I not know what's going to happen in the next few episodes, I don't even know what the intention of this episode was supposed to be. I don't know if things that they included are things they're going to say later, or things that they included are things that aren't important. I don't really know what to say about this episode. It's an interesting introduction. As an introduction, it definitely got me interested. I'm just curious because this time there's no manga or promotional material or anything really telling us what's going to happen. So this time I have to take this all at face value. And at face value, all I have to say is, it was a very interesting episode. The tone has changed drastically, and I'm just wondering where this is going to lead to. I'm not going to make conclusive judgments like, now is going to be the point where Dragon Ball Super gets good, or like, everything's so much better now, because, I mean, it's been one episode. But let's say from that episode, I'm definitely interested. I am hyped. These really stupid sounding ideas seem to be going into an arc that is a bit more interesting than I gave it credit for, so I just really want to know what's going to happen next. So this is Gabby, signing out, and I'll see you all next week. Bye guys!